I kept photos of my college boyfriend. Now my husband's moving his things out April 4th, 2023. I'm standing frozen in our bedroom doorway, watching Noah methodically pack his clothes into 2 large suitcases. His movements are precise, unhurried. I notice how the late afternoon sunlight cuts through the blinds, creating stripes across his tensed shoulders. "You don't have to do this," I say, my voice smaller than I intended. Noah doesn't look up. "I think we both know that I do, Eliza." I'm thinking, this can't be happening. 3 weeks ago, everything was fine, normal. How did we get here so quickly? My chest feels tight, like someone's wrapped a metal band around it and keeps tightening it with each breath I take. I lean against the door frame for support. "It was just some old photos, Noah. They don't mean anything." Now he does look up, his hazel eyes meeting mine with an expression I've never seen before, something between disappointment and resolve. "We both know it's not just about the photos, Eliza. Noah and I met 7 years ago at a charity 5K in Grant Park. I was 29, he was 34. I'd signed up with coworkers from the advertising agency where I worked. He was there supporting his sister who'd survived breast cancer. I remember thinking he wasn't my usual type. Not as flashy or charismatic as the men I typically dated. But there was something steady about Noah Mitchell that drew me in. The way he listened, really listened when people spoke. How he showed up when he said he would. The quiet confidence that never demanded attention but commanded respect. After dating for 3 years, we got married in a ceremony at the lakefront pavilion, with the Chicago skyline as our backdrop. My parents thought I'd finally settled down with someone reliable after years of what my mother called my questionable judgment in men. I bristled at their assessment but couldn't entirely disagree. Noah was dependable, stable. The person who remembered to check the tire pressure and make dental appointments and ensure we had emergency supplies in winter. I joked to my friends that I'd married an adult, someone who actually had his life together, but sometimes I wondered if I'd settled. If the butterflies I'd felt with some previous boyfriends, particularly Declan, my college sweetheart, were something I'd sacrificed for stability. 3 weeks ago, I'm at Meridian Vineyard with my closest friends for Tara's bachelorette weekend. We're sitting at a long wooden table on the outdoor terrace, empty wine glasses scattered between platters of half-eaten charcuterie. The spring air is crisp and fairy lights twinkle overhead as dusk settles around us. "To finding your forever person," Tara exclaims, raising yet another glass of Pinot Noir. "May we all be so lucky." "You're only saying that because you're drunk on love and expensive wine," I reply, reaching for the bottle to refill my own glass. I feel pleasantly buzzed, that perfect stage of tipsiness where everything seems funnier, more profound. "So, Eliza," says Valerie, Tara's college roommate whom I've only met twice before, "tell us how you knew Noah was the one." I take a long sip from my glass, thinking, why does everyone ask this question like there's some magical moment? Some people just work. "Noah's great," I say, swirling the wine in my glass. "He's stable, reliable." "That sounds like you're describing a Honda, not a husband," quips Valerie, and the table erupts in laughter. I feel a flash of irritation. "Well, we can't all marry tech entrepreneurs with abs like Tara's fiancé." "Ooh, someone's defensive," Valerie teases. "I'm not being defensive," I say, reaching for my phone. "I'm just saying different relationships look different. Before Noah, I dated plenty of exciting guys who turned out to be complete disasters." I pull up my Instagram and begin scrolling through an album I rarely open but have never deleted. Photos from college and my early 20s. "Like this one," I say, holding up a picture of Declan and me at a music festival, his arms slung around my shoulders, both of us laughing wildly at something off-camera. My college boyfriend. Absolutely electric connection. Totally wrong for me long-term. "He's hot," comments someone down the table. "Right?" I say, emboldened by wine and nostalgia. We were obsessed with each other. The kind of relationship where you can't keep your hands off each other, you know? Like, we'd cut class just to spend afternoons in bed. I swipe to another photo. Declan playing guitar at a party, hair falling into his eyes. Me watching him with naked adoration. "Declan was the love of my youth," I continue, my voice taking on a wistful tone. "Passionate, intense. We'd have these fights and then make up in the most incredible ways." "So what happened?" asks Tara, leaning in. I sighed dramatically. Life happened. He wanted to travel, play music. I wanted a career. It was the right relationship at the right time, but we weren't meant to be forever. And Noah? Prompts Valerie. I pause, suddenly uncomfortable with the comparison I've invited. Noah is different. He's the person you marry when you're ready to be an adult. Less drama, more partnership. But do you miss it? Asks Valerie. The passion? I take another long sip of wine. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if Declan and I had met later in life, if the timing had been different. I lock my phone and set it face down on the table. But that's just wine talking. Noah's my person. The conversation moves on, but I don't notice Tara's cousin Madison quietly leaving the terrace, phone in hand. 2 days later, I'm walking along the shore path near our condo, the afternoon sun warm on my shoulders. I'm scrolling through emails on my phone when it rings. Noah's face appears on my screen. Hey, just checking when you'll be home, he says, his voice oddly flat. Probably another hour? I'm just getting some fresh air after the weekend. I pause. Everything okay? There's a silence that stretches a beat too long. Madison sent me a video, he says finally. I stop walking, my heart suddenly hammering. What video? From the bachelorette party. She thought I should know how you talk about me when I'm not around. I'm thinking, oh shit, oh no. My mind races, trying to recall exactly what I said. Noah, I was drunk. It was just silly girl talk. Was it? His voice is unnervingly calm. Because it sounded like you were comparing our marriage to your relationship with your college boyfriend. Quite unfavorably, I might add. That's not I didn't mean. I struggle to find words. It was taken out of context. The context seemed pretty clear, Eliza. Noah is the person you marry when you're ready to be an adult. Like I'm some consolation prize you settled for. My stomach drops. That's not what I meant. I think it's exactly what you meant. I'm going to stay at Trevor's tonight. I need some space. The call ends before I can respond. I stand there, staring at my phone, other walkers swerving around me on the path. A cold dread settles over me despite the warm spring day. It was just drunk talk, I tell myself. He'll calm down. But Noah doesn't calm down. He returns to our condo the next day while I'm at work, leaving a terse note saying he'll be at his brother's for a while. I try calling, but he doesn't answer. I send texts that receive one-word replies. 5 days after the bachelorette weekend, I'm sitting at my desk at the advertising agency where I work as a creative director. Rain streaks down the floor-to-ceiling windows of our downtown office, matching my mood. I'm staring at my computer screen without seeing it, my third coffee of the morning growing cold beside my keyboard. My colleague Amara rolls her chair over to my desk. You look like you haven't slept in days, she says, concern in her voice. Noah's still staying at his brother's, I confess. It's been almost a week. Because of what you said at the bachelorette party? Amara asks. She's one of the few people I've told about the situation. I nod miserably. I've apologized. I've explained I was drunk and didn't mean it. He barely responds. Maybe, Amara begins cautiously. It's not just about what you said at the party? I frown. What do you mean? Well, she hesitates. Remember last month at the company dinner? When Noah was talking about that hiking trip he wanted to take, and you laughed and told everyone he probably wouldn't make it halfway up the trail like he's more of an urban creature? I feel a flicker of defensiveness. That was just a joke. Or at Jared's barbecue when Noah brought up wanting kids soon, and you made that comment about him needing to level up his career first? I'm thinking, those were such small moments, harmless comments. But something uncomfortable stirs in my chest. My point is, Amara continues gently, maybe this video was just the tipping point of a pattern? I stare out at the rain-slicked buildings. I don't put him down, I say, but my voice lacks conviction. Amara touches my arm. Eliza, I love you, but sometimes you can be a bit dismissive of Noah, like you think you settled for him. Her words hit me like a physical blow. That's not true, I protest. I love Noah. I know you do, but does he know that? Do you show him? That evening I'm standing on Trevor's front porch, rain soaking through my jacket. Noah answers the door, surprise evident on his face. Can we talk? I ask, water dripping from my hair. Please? He hesitates, then steps back to let me in. Trevor's modern loft is sparse and minimalist, all concrete and steel, nothing like our warm, cluttered condo. Trevor's at his girlfriend's, Noah says, leading me to the living area. He doesn't offer to take my wet jacket. I look at my husband, really look at him, for the first time in days. There are shadows under his eyes that match my own, but his posture is different. Almost relieved. I'm sorry, I begin. What I said was thoughtless and hurtful. I was drunk and trying to sound interesting to people I barely knew. Noah sits on the edge of an angular sofa. I appreciate the apology, but this isn't just about what you said at the party, Eliza. I know, I say, surprising myself with the admission. Amara helped me see that today. I've been dismissive of you, taken you for granted. He looks at me for a long moment. Do you know what hurt the most about that video? It wasn't just hearing you call me the adult choice like I'm some sensible sweater you settled for. It was realizing you still have all those photos, that you look at them, that you wonder what if about another man. I sink into a chair across from him. The photos don't mean anything. They're just memories from a different time in my life. If they don't mean anything, why keep them? Why pull them out at a party to show off your passionate ex to your friends? I don't have a good answer. And it's not just the photos, Eliza. It's the way you talk about me to your friends, to your colleagues. Like I'm this boring, safe choice you made because you had to grow up. That's not. It is, he interrupts firmly. Maybe you don't see it, but I do. Everyone does. The eye rolls when I talk about my work, the jokes at my expense, the way you cut me off in conversations. I'm thinking, is that true? Do I do that? Uncomfortable memories begin to surface, moments when I've dismissed his ideas or made him the butt of jokes or complained about him to friends. I never meant to make you feel undervalued, I say quietly. Intentions don't really matter when the impact is the same, do they? Noah runs a hand through his hair. The truth is, I deserve someone who's proud to be with me, who doesn't keep wondering about the road not taken. My heart constricts. Are you saying you want a divorce? He looks down at his hands. I'm saying I don't want to be anyone's consolation prize. I've spent the last week thinking about our relationship, and I realized something. I've been accepting scraps of appreciation, convincing myself it was enough. It's not too late, I say, desperation creeping into my voice. We can fix this. I can do better. Noah's expression softens slightly. Maybe. But I need time, Eliza. Real time, to figure out if this is still what I want. 2 weeks pass. Noah communicates only through brief texts about practical matters. I throw myself into work, staying late at the office to avoid our empty condo. I delete the photos of Declan from my phone and social media accounts. Too little, too late. After 17 days of separation, I'm walking through Millennium Park when my phone buzzes with a text from Noah. I'm coming by the condo tomorrow at 1 to get some things. Let me know if that's not a good time. My heart sinks. Getting some things sounds ominously like a step towards something more permanent. I send back. I'll be there. The next day, April 4th, Noah arrives exactly at 1 p.m. He uses his key to enter, and I hear him pause in the entryway. I've been up since dawn, cleaning obsessively, as if a spotless home might somehow fix our broken marriage. Hi, I say, emerging from the dining area where I've been pretending to work on my laptop. Hi, he replies with a small nod. He looks good, rested in a way he hadn't at Trevor's loft. He's wearing a blue button-down shirt I've always loved on him, and I wonder if that's intentional or coincidental. Can I get you something? Coffee? I ask, hovering awkwardly in my own home. No, thanks, I won't be long. He moves toward our bedroom, and I follow at a distance. That's when I find myself watching him pack, standing helplessly in the doorway as he efficiently transfers clothes from our closet to his suitcases. After my failed plea for him to stop, Noah continues packing. The silence between us is excruciating. I've been seeing a therapist, I blurt out. To work on the things we talked about. Noah pauses, a folded sweater in his hands. That's good, Eliza. I'm glad. I've realized how much I took you for granted, how I compared you to an idealized memory instead of appreciating who you actually are. He places the sweater in the suitcase. I appreciate you saying that. Don't you think we should at least try? Counseling, maybe? My voice cracks slightly. Noah sits on the edge of the bed. I've been doing a lot of thinking these past few weeks, about what I want, what I deserve. I hold my breath, afraid of what comes next. The night after I saw that video, Trevor took me to this rooftop bar to cheer me up. We were sitting there, and this woman at the next table kept glancing over. Eventually, she sent over drinks. My stomach lurches. Did you? No, he says quickly. I told her I was married, but something she said stuck with me. She said I seemed too sad for someone as kind as I looked. He gives a small, humorless laugh. And I realized she was right. I've been sad, Eliza, for longer than I've admitted to myself. Noah, please, let me finish. I've spent years trying to be enough for you, trying to make you see me the way you apparently still see your college boyfriend, and I'm exhausted. Tears begin to spill down my cheeks. I do see you. I love you, not some idealized memory. But you don't respect me, he says gently, and without respect, love isn't enough. He stands and continues packing. I remain in the doorway, tears flowing freely now. Where will you go? I ask finally. I signed a 6-month lease on an apartment near the office. I think we need real separation, Eliza, to figure out if there's anything left to save, and if there isn't. The question hangs between us, terrifying in its implications. Noah zips the second suitcase. Then we'll have to accept that and move forward separately. He lifts both suitcases, and I step aside to let him pass. At the front door, he pauses. I'll call you in a few days about arranging to pick up the rest of my things, he says. Then, almost as an afterthought, I hope your therapy helps. I really do. Whatever happens with us, I want you to be happy, Eliza. The door closes behind him with a quiet click that somehow sounds more final than a slam would have. 3 months later, I'm sitting on a bench in Lincoln Park, watching families and couples enjoy the summer afternoon. The sun is high overhead, casting short shadows on the green grass. Children laugh as they chase each other, and somewhere nearby, someone is playing guitar. I pull out my phone to check the time. 2:45 p.m. Noah should be here soon. This is our third meeting since he moved out. The first was with our respective lawyers to discuss separation terms. Clinical, detached, focused on dividing assets rather than emotions. The second was an awkward coffee where we mostly talked about practical matters. Who would keep which furniture? What to do about shared friends? Today is different. Noah asked to meet in person, without lawyers or the pretense of discussing logistics. I've spent the morning alternating between hope and dread. I spot him approaching along the path, sunglasses on, hands in the pockets of his jeans. My heart does that familiar flip it always has at the sight of him, something I never acknowledged enough when we were together. Hey, he says, taking a seat beside me but leaving space between us. Hey, I reply, resisting the urge to reach for his hand. Thanks for suggesting this. He nods, looking out at the park rather than at me. How's therapy going? Good. Challenging, but good. Dr. Winters doesn't let me get away with much. A small smile touches Noah's lips. Sounds like what you need. It is, I agree. I've been learning a lot about myself. Why I feel the need to put down the people closest to me. How I use comparison as a defense mechanism. Now he does look at me, surprised by my candor perhaps. My parents' marriage was complicated, I continue. My mother constantly criticized my father. I internalize that as normal, as what strong women do. I shake my head. Not that that's an excuse. It helps explain some things, Noah offers. We sit in silence for a moment, watching a golden retriever chase a frisbee across the grass. I've missed you, I say finally, the words escaping before I can consider their wisdom. Noah sighs. I've missed you too, Eliza. Parts of us, anyway. Hope flickers in my chest. Which parts? The early morning coffee on the balcony. Planning trips together. Your excitement when you nail a pitch at work. He pauses. But I haven't missed feeling like I'm not enough. Like I'm constantly being measured against some ideal I can never live up to. I swallow hard. I understand that now. I really do. I was so caught up in what I thought I wanted that I couldn't see what was right in front of me. He takes off his sunglasses, his hazel eyes meeting mine directly. The thing is, Eliza, I've been doing really well these past few months. The separation has been clarifying. My hope dims slightly. Oh? Yeah. I've reconnected with friends I'd let drift away. Joined a rock climbing group. Even started taking those guitar lessons I always talked about but never pursued. I remember how I'd once laughed when he mentioned wanting to learn guitar, making some comment about midlife crises and garage bands. The memory makes me wince. That's great, Noah. I'm happy for you. The point is, he continues, I've rediscovered parts of myself that got lost somewhere in our marriage, parts I set aside because they didn't fit with how you saw me. I nod, unable to argue with his assessment. And that's why I wanted to meet today, he says. To tell you that I think our separation needs to be permanent. The words hit me like a physical blow. Despite everything, I'd been holding on to hope. I've filed the divorce papers, he continues gently. My lawyer will contact yours with the details. I'm thinking, this can't be happening. Not when I'm finally seeing clearly. Not when I finally understand what I've lost. Noah, please, I say, my voice breaking. I know I messed up, badly. But people can change. I'm changing. He looks at me with genuine compassion. I believe that you are. And I'm proud of you for doing that work. But sometimes the damage can't be undone. We built a life together, I protest weakly. We did. He agrees. And there were beautiful parts of it. I'll always be grateful for those. A tear slips down my cheek. Is there someone else? I ask, though I'm not sure I want the answer. Noah shakes his head. No, this isn't about another person. It's about me finally valuing myself enough to walk away from something that wasn't serving either of us. I wipe away the tear. I don't know how to let you go. You already did, Eliza, long before I moved out. He stands, putting his sunglasses back on. I hope you find what you're looking for. I really do. And I hope someday you realize it was never about Declan or me or anyone else. It's about making peace with yourself. He walks away down the path, his figure growing smaller against the backdrop of trees and sky. I remain on the bench, the summer sun suddenly feeling too harsh on my skin. I pull out my phone and open the photo album where I once kept pictures of Declan. It's empty now, deleted in a moment of desperate symbolism that came too late. But as I stare at the blank space where those memories used to be, I realize Noah was right. It was never about the photos. It was about my inability to fully commit to the present, to appreciate the real, imperfect, wonderful man who loved me without conditions or drama. Until I gave him every reason to stop. In the distance, the guitarist begins playing a new song. The melody carries across the park, bittersweet and haunting, like the ending of something that could have been beautiful, if only I'd recognized its value while I had the chance.